Mahendra Singh Dhoni's captaincy faces its acid test. Yes, India are defending its honour at Nagpur in the fourth test against England with a home series possibly imminent. Never has Mahendra Singh Dhoni's captaincy been under such scrutiny. There are reports flying around of a rift in the team, and of course there's a selector, an ex-selector should I say, who's on a revelation spree. Now joining me in the studio is Jaideep Vaidya, who's a reporter for cricketcountry.com. Let me ask Jaideep, what are your first thoughts on this whole scenario with India defending its home series and at the same time reports probably ones you wouldn't welcome?
Yes, and I'm happy that the selectors have not done anything midway through the series. I mean, if you want to change the captain, you can do so after the series is over. And with regards to Dhoni's captaincy, Dhoni himself answered it in the pre-match press conference where he said that in India, everyone has an opinion and everyone asks the questions, but nobody has a solution. Where is the solution if you want to replace Dhoni as captain?
But as Mohinder Amarnath said, that Dhoni is not the man to decide whether he's going to continue as captain or not. So, ideally, he's not the man who should say whether there's a solution for his captaincy or not.
It's his opinion, but even if you take Dhoni out of the picture, who are you going to replace him with a captain? Gautam Gambhir's name was doing the rounds for a couple of years, but after that brilliant year in 2009, he hasn't showed the consistency. Virendra Sehwag is another name, but as much as Sehwag loves to score in the subcontinent, you need a captain who even scores overseas and sees the team through. And if you consider the rest of the test squad, who have you got? You've got Virat Kohli, who's inexperienced, and Cheteshwar Pujara is the same. So, I don't think there's anyone else to replace MS Dhoni currently.
Well, just out of the ordinary, if you have to do something brave, just like what the South Africans did in 2003, they appointed a young Graeme Smith as captain. He was just 21 or 22, and he succeeded Sean Pollock ahead of the likes of Mark Boucher or Jack Callis. So why not? Maybe an Indian selector might think, here we have a Cheteshwar Pujara who's captained India A in the past, has done decently well, is mature and has a calm head on his shoulders. Why not give him the responsibility? But it may be a far shot and may not be quite possible in the Indian scenario, you think?
I don't think so, because Virat Kohli and Cheteshwar Pujara both played in less than 15 odd matches. So I'm sure Graeme Smith was more experienced at the time he was given captaincy.
Graeme Smith made his debut in February 2002 and he made his captaincy debut a year down the line in Bangladesh in April. Yeah, that's right. And he didn't play too many test matches. He was consistent. In fact, if you look at Graeme Smith's track record, or in fact his career graph, you'd see that he wasn't picked for the World Cup squad in 2003. And it's an injury to Jonty Rhodes that actually paved the way for him to enter into the team. So here was a guy who wasn't exactly established in the one-day team, but he succeeded and became the captain.
It'll be a big gamble, I would still say, in terms of the Indian scenario. Virat Kohli is touted as the next Indian captain, but I think one should ease him into the role by giving him the captaincy in the limited overs format before getting him into the test captaincy role. So I think if you have to replace MS Dhoni, I really don't see anyone who could do it currently.
Yes, in the current scenario, it doesn't seem likely that there's any replacement. For example, you take a Virat Kohli, he's struggling to score runs in the ongoing series against England. He has been good throughout 2012, but maybe just somewhere one gets the feeling that he needs that extra bit of maturity, don't you think?
He does, and he also needs some consistent scores in his lineup. He may have scored the odd century, but that century, following that, there've just been scores of 20, 30, 40. So if Virat Kohli has to be the captain, he has to score above 50 consistently. But other than that, who would you choose as the Indian captain?
It's a bit difficult. Gautam Gambhir is perhaps the front runner, but then again, he hasn't scored a test century since January 2010, and that's almost 3 years. He's an opening batsman, and as an opener, you expect a person to be consistent and get the big scores. But then again, he just gets those 50s, 30s, 40s, which isn't good enough, one would say. Well, you have Virendra Sehwag, who's flamboyant, absolutely fearless, but then his captaincy does not inspire too much. Probably he's a bit... his captaincy is a bit like his batting, you can say, and you don't really want someone like him to captain your side. Someone who's that fearless, who's that flamboyant, who may not necessarily think about the situation.
You need someone who can strive in overseas conditions. I mean, I know India is not playing abroad till December 2013 when they go to South Africa, but I mean, you need a captain who can, lead the side anywhere in the world. And I don't think that Virender Sehwag is that guy.